Can you meet him? Yes, sorry.
Brothers and sisters, sons of the desert, we are all familiar with the business of this special gathering. We must meet the situation with determination.
Excuse us.
I repeat, we must face the situation with determination. Every son and daughter must do their part. There must be no weak links in our midst. We must put our very hearts and souls into this great undertaking. There must be no thought of failure. We must stand shoulder by shoulder. We must work. We must sacrifice. The weak must be helped by the strong. For we, ladies and gentlemen, the 71st Oasis in the great order of the Sons of the Desert have created this special sketch to be performed by the Come Clean Convention Committee. Try that, Come Clean Convention Committee. The term will, in the course of this sketch, incorporate the title of all 106 of the boys' films. At various points, the sketch requires some audience participation. Participating in the way of participating in... Now don't bother me when I'm working. I don't come to your trash truck. Now come on. At various points, the sketch requires some audience participation in the way of following the instructions of the cue cards held up by Steve. There will be some extremely horrendous puns uttered during this evening, which should be greeted with the groans that they deserve. Steve.
Sorry, man.
Also, if one hears one's tent mentioned, representatives of this tent will honor it by shouting, "Here." Can we try that one time?
Here.
Listen.
Here.
Me too. Loudly and clearly. We expect this challenge to be met and to be represented 100% by you, our fellow sons of the desert. We will now take the oath. And remember, once taken, this oath has never been broken by anyone down through the centuries of time in the history of this fraternal organization. If any member is doubtful of his or her strength to keep this solemn pledge, they will please be seated. Place yourself in a position to receive the oath. Do you all? All right, one fool at a time. Close look as who? With a pinch of salt. Wholeheartedly unanimous. We will now sing a rousing chorus of our official song.
Well, sing it.
Sons of the desert, having the time of strong, sweethearts and wives, God bless them. Tramp, 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 the boys are marching, and dancing to his melody.
Please be seated. And now, this is a solemn occasion. I don't know what is all the giggles. And now, over to Radio KFVD. VD. I never had that. I don't want it again. KFVD in Hollywood.
Thank you. Now I'll tell one. 45 minutes from Hollywood, and Mr. Laurel and Mr. Hardy were hoping to be early to bed. They had found a suitable park bench on which they would spend the night. Stan had had to come clean. Yes. And admit that the reason they'd had to duck soup in the soup line and retain their liberty was that the midnight patrol had been passing and Stan went hog wild in terror. Ollie had tried to stifle the big noise by covering Stan's mouth. Pardon us, Ollie uttered nervously to the astonished crowd, at which point they'd had to scrap. Now they were in another fine mess. It was below zero, and the two night owls had had less than a perfect day.
Do detectives think we did away with the box at Fox Studios, Ollie?
Well, unaccustomed as we are to violence, we would have had good reason to do some dirty work. After all, that studio gave us nothing but trouble. That wasn't their first mistake. Anyhow, our relations know that we're not killers.
Yeah, our wife will save us from the goose gown.
What do you mean, our wife? Dulcie, darling, is my wife.
Well, you're a lucky dog, because I've had my share of slipping wives. And your ball and chain is double whoopie, a real bohemian girl.
What do you mean, a real bohemian girl?
Well, she's from bonny Scotland. And Bohemia's near Scotland, and that's right next to Denver Hills. You know, Holland and...
Holland? Boy, are you dumb. We'll tell you she ain't no Swiss miss. Why, look at us. Reduced to this. A park bench. Okay, we're still on the loose, but no thanks to you. Why? There'll be a long, hardy murder case. They'll even be blaming the stolen jewels on us. I'd rather be towed in a hole than get involved in this big business.
At this point, Ollie and Stan lay on the bench, which collapsed, leaving our heroes in a heap on the ground.
Whoops, we bore down. Well, that's the finishing touch. Now we'll have to be fixer-uppers. Busybodies is the last thing we wanted to be tonight. Look at us, going great guns where we should be going bye-bye. Now, let's be helpmates. Let's take our hats off and help each other instead of doing wild poses.
Eventually, the boys settled down on the makeshift bench. Looking up to the sky, Stan said,
Pick a star.
I can't see any stars.
You sure can. Look over there. Go on. One good turn and you'll see some.
Oh, you're on the wrong track. You'll be seeing flying elephants next.
Go on, cue card.
Wrong again. See, there are at least twice 2 up there. Look. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Why, you know twice 2 isn't 6. Even the chump at Oxford should know that. Twice 2 is 4, with 1 left over.
Oh, what do we know anyhow? We're just a couple of blockheads.
Has it come to this? Me and my pal about to have the battle of the century. Listen, I ain't so dumb. It's you that hears the call of the cuckoos all the time. Anyway, let's go to sleep.
All was quiet for a while.
Ollie,
Yes, Stanley?
should married men go home?
Only if they're saps at sea. Why, 2 tars, mate. I mean... Have you ever heard of anything thicker than water? Listen, sailors beware.
Why? Girls love sailors.
No, girls love faux hunks. You know, masterful types like the bullfighters. Why, they could beat a couple of brats in any old form. They adore the flying juices and sugar daddies. Anyhow, what have sailors got to do with anything?
Well, you started it.
No, I didn't.
You did too.
Oh, never mind. You'll be arguing till the chickens come home at this rate.
Shouldn't that be goats?
Why goats?
Well, I kind of like goats.
Stanley, why are we talking of Angora love when we should be fast asleep? Now let's get some shut-eye.
They slept. Stan had a nightmare. He dreamt about the murdered studio boss who became the live ghost. A haunting we will go, moaned the spook eerily. I'm the devil's brother. It will be habeas corpus for at least a century. Then the second 100 years, I'll go way out west and throw a Hollywood party. Just like the one we had after the Hollywood Review of 1929. While Stan slept fitfully, Ollie dreamed nice to dream. He could smell bacon being cooked, so he and his partner in dreams, Stan, followed the smell of cooking. They spotted the bacon. It was cooling on the window ledge. Ollie's rotund face lit up, and Stan smiled and scratched his head. Like 2 babes in Toyland, they crept up to the window ledge.
Gee, Ollie, that sure smells good.
You're darn tootin'.
Let's wait and see if there's some more.
Now let's not be too greedy.
Ollie knew that one false move could end in their purple moment, but Stan still adamant.
But there could be everything from soup to nuts if we wait a little longer. Maybe there'll be some gravy too.
Look at me, I'm laughing. Gravy and bacon. Whoever heard of such a thing? Anyways, let's be bacon grabbers.
The The boys snatched the food and found a nice leafy spot behind the county hospital. They looked at the bacon. There were 8 pieces. Stan took 7 and gave Oliver the 8th.
Give me that food. I'll share it properly.
It was at this point that Ollie's dream began to take a strange turn. From behind the bushes sprang a chimpanzee, and lo and behold, the chimp could talk.
Could happen.
Look, it's Ethel.
No, my name is Kay, and I've just escaped from the circus. I was forced to dance the jitterbugs twice nightly. It was a terrible job, so I thought, it's tit for tat. I loaded up the music box with some dynamite that was stolen from 2 men of war. And I waited until the dancing masters were blotto after one of their drinking sessions. I thought to myself, this is gonna be big. When they were lying in their berths, I placed my fingers in my ears and donned my tin helmet I'd borrowed from a couple of air raid wardens and waited till they go boo. They did go boo. There were birthmarks all over the walls. I certainly didn't leave them laughing. I haven't eaten real food for days, now that there's no one to look after me.
Wow, you survived.
All I've had to eat is grass, and now that is getting low.
Well, maybe we can help.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you'll find some long grass over there.
Stanley, where are your manners? Why, Mr. Chimp, what's ours is yours. Here, have some bacon.
Oh, call me Kay. Let's not be formal. I hope you don't mind sharing your food with me.
Not at all, Kay.
Just then, Ollie was rudely awakened by Stan's big toe, which was thrust in the Bartley gent's ear. Ollie began shaking Stan, who was no relation to shaking Stephen.
Come on, Stan. Pack up your troubles. We're going to give ourselves up to the police. After all, we're innocent. What can they do? They can't pin this on us.
Stan, still groggy, pulled some newspapers from his waistcoat. It was his winter lagging. Suddenly, the headline caught his eye. He put on his glassless reading spectacles.
Hey, Ollie, look at the headline in yesterday's paper.
Why? That's my wife.
Come home, the headline read, printed over a photograph of a tearful Mrs. Hardy. Stan continued,
The boys have an alibi. They were with their nephew Philip at the time of the dastardly deed. They have taken Philip to the local tailor shop in Culver City to be fitted with some new trousers. So how could they have been involved in the murder when they were putting hands on Philip? I mean, said the distraught Dulcie Hardy, you can't help but love him and weep. My Ollie is no murderer. Oh, sometimes it's with love and hisses, but he's still my dimpled dumpling, unquote.
Well, hallelujah.
Sorry.
Well, hallelujah.
What's the matter?
Why, didn't you just read it for yourself?
Well, I did, but I wasn't listening.
You weren't listening. Anyway, we're off the hook. Now that it's all over, we won't have to sing the rogue song anymore. Why? We can even attend tonight's Sons of the Desert meeting.
Do you know what they're showing tonight, Ollie?
Why, it's the tree and the test tube. Well, you try and fit that one in. I don't believe you. Didn't I just tell you? Come on, let's go home. You don't believe me.
That's it, all 106.
I haven't got one to shut up, so...
Well, that's my story, and I'm stuck in it. Well, with it. That's all there is. There isn't any more.
Because of your tremendous applaud, the boys will be back in about 5 minutes to do another sketch for you. And in the meantime, will you abuse Steve?
All right.
So if you talk to each other, they'll be back in about 5 minutes.